Hi again. We're talking about our science right here. And I'm just going to kind of recap some of the things that we've been talking about. We're talking about skin. It's the biggest organ in the body. Remember, organs are groups of cells that have a job. They work together to get a job done, like your liver. Your liver is a purifier. Your blood runs through your liver and it takes out all the gunk that's in your blood and it cleans it up and sends it out. Your kidneys are also purifiers. They runs all the juices in your body through your kidneys and takes out all the garbage and cleans them all up and sends it back out. All right. So you have some purifiers in your body, and those are the kidneys and the liver are two of those good purifiers. Also another organ in your body are your lungs, and they go in, they expand and contract day after day after day, many, many times. And you do not think about it. Great day, you don't think about your lungs. You know, if you're a young, healthy kiddo, you don't get up in the morning and think, I need to breathe in now. Now I need to breathe out. You know, that is all automatic. Your heart automatically is beating. And unless you've got a heart condition, a heart situation, you don't even think about your heart. It's there and it's just beating away and it's keeping you alive, because if your heart ever stops, you're gone. Or if your lungs stop working, you're probably in the hospital. And that's where this coronavirus was affecting the lungs of people. And they ended up not being able to breathe. So all of those lungs and heart and liver and kidneys, those are organs. Well, your skin's an organ too. And it's an amazing organ. It works to do a job. And one of the jobs we talked about yesterday was the job that it keeps things out of your body, like germs. Germs cannot just walk through your skin. Your skin is a barrier. It's like armor, okay? So you can't get through it. So if there's a germ in your body, it's gotten into you in a different manner. It's gotten through your eyes, through your nose, it's gotten through your mouth, maybe even through your ears, I don't know, but it's gotten in a different way. It cannot get in right through your skin. Your skin is a barrier, and so it keeps germs out. It keeps chemicals out. So if you are needing to do something like cleaning, using bathroom cleaners, like if you're a housewife and your mommy's using bathroom cleaners, or she's doing something special with cleaning products that she might use for your clothes, or daddy is painting the house and he gets paint on him, all of those things, if you were to swallow them, you'd be super sick. But if it gets on your skin, it doesn't sink in. It doesn't go in. If it did, it would be very serious. You would be very, very sick. But no, your skin is a barrier to keep some things out of it. And it also keeps out excess water. So otherwise you couldn't, if you stood out in the rainstorm like we had yesterday, if you stood out in the rain, you'd soak up and you'd be as big as an elephant, you know? Your skin doesn't allow extra water just to soak through it. It keeps certain things out. Skin, it keeps you in, and it keeps the bad things out, like chemicals, germs, and water. That's what skin's all about. Skin, it keeps you in, and it keeps out all those bad things. Now, on the other hand, skin also keeps some things in. It keeps the moisture in your body. So that's why you drink lots of water, in order to keep your organs, all those beautiful organs we talked about, your heart and your lungs and your liver and your kidneys, to keep all of them working well. They have to have water, not just pop. They have to have water, okay? And the water helps them to be able to be efficient. That's why when you go to the doctor's always saying, hey, do you drink enough water? Do you drink enough water? Do you drink enough water? We want you to drink lots of water. And of course, if you're exercising, you're using up water, or you're in the summertime when there's a lot of hot weather, you're going to need more water, more than you do on an ice cold day. But you're going to need a lot of water. And one of the reasons you're going to need some water on a hot day is because you're going to sweat. You're going to perspire. And those little trickles of water are going to come down your cheeks And you're going to be you're going to be hot enough to sweat. When you're hot enough to sweat, you're hot. And your body is saying, hey, we need to get cooled down here. We're too hot. And your body wants to stay at 98.6. God has made it so that your body regulates 98.6. And if your temperature goes up or temperature goes down, you're in serious trouble. If it goes up, you feel miserable and you have a temperature. And if it continues to go up, and pretty soon your mommy will take you to the doctor, and the doctor will try his very best to get that temperature down till it's 98.6. If you are caught out in a storm, like some people, like in a snowmobile accident or snowmobile problem, where they're actually not dressed well enough and they're caught out in a bad storm, sometimes those people get hypothermia, which is like when their temperature, instead of being 98.6, it goes down, and then they have to be put in the hospital. So your body has to stay 98.6. So it's going to do it. And it does it by letting your pores, remember those little pores we talked about yesterday, that open and close all the time, every day, all day long. They're working. They never sleep on their job. They're always doing what they need to do. And when you're too hot, they open up. Okay? And when they open up, they let out water. And when they let out this water called sweat, it's also got some other chemicals in it, but like salt is one of them. And it will trickle out, and as soon as it trickles out of those pores, you cool down because of evaporation. Remember, evaporation, condensation, precipitation. That's the water cycle. Okay, evaporation, that's what cools you off. Just like when you stand in front of a fan, when you after you've been playing at PE, and you're hot, and you open the window and that air blows by you. Oh, or even in the wintertime, when we're playing in the gym, and you get so hot because you're running in the gym, and you come outside, even if it's in the wintertime, you come outside and you feel so much better because that air is blowing by you and you're hot. Now, did you say to yourself, hey, pores, you better open up because I'm getting too hot? No, you didn't say it. No, the pores knew what to do all the time. They just opened up and they said, phew, this guy here is too hot. We're going to open up and get him cool. And sure enough, opened up your pores and you cooled down immediately. That is pretty awesome. And then also we learned that the pores also keep your heat in because you have a natural body heat of 98.6 because you're warm-blooded, okay? Just like your cat and your dog, they're warm-blooded. They are not cold-blooded. Whereas Mr. Fish, he's cold-blooded. That means his body temperature, it goes up. If the water is hot, the fishy gets hot and he's not very hungry that day. And in the wintertime, his body gets slower and his blood gets thicker because his body temperature changes. Like Mr. Snake, his body temperature changes. And so Mr. Snake, in the summertime, where is he? He's always crawling out onto the highway. Or he's where it's nice and warm. He's by rocks. Because he loves that body. When his body is close to something warm, he gets warmer. And when he's close to something cold, he gets colder. But you and I are not that way. No. We are the kind that when we stay the same all the time, 98.6, and you automatically sweat in order to cool your body down. So of course you're going to need lots of water to keep your body cool. Your body also, I said, keeps the heat in because you are 98.6. So if you've been swimming too long and you get out and the wind is out of the pool or out of the lake and the wind is blowing and sometimes you look at your legs or your arms and you've got goosebumps on them. So it's like your little pores all of a sudden pop up because it's trying to keep all the warm inside as it possibly can. And sometimes if you rub your arms like that, okay, if you rub, you can warm yourself up. Have you ever tried that? Try it with your hands, okay? Rub a little bit with your hands. Now push harder. And now push faster. Faster, faster. Go, 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 go. Push hard and fast. Hey, guess what? You heated up. Your hands heated up. friction is on your hands. So when you rub yourself, like if you're cold in the wintertime and you've got these little goosebumps that have popped up, it's because you're so cold. You rub your arms, hey, you will automatically get warmer. Your body is an amazing thing, but you need water to keep your body running well, so that it can cool itself off and so that your organs can work well. We learned a little bit yesterday that sweat gland, and remember we labeled it on our little chart here. We labeled the sweat gland, and it was down at number 9, down here at the bottom. Okay, and there's sweat glands all over your body. You sweat actually, sometimes you sweat all over your body. But there are certain sweat glands that are more prominent than others under your arms, okay? And maybe not so much with you right now, but as you get older, under your arms is going to be a big sweat area. Some of you just have sweaty heads, up your temple area around your hairline. You're going to be sweaty in that area, and those are kind of some of our sweatier spots. Sometimes if your hands will get sweaty, and maybe your feet, especially if you have shoes on. That's why your feet stink. Lots of times they just don't smell very good because they've been cooped up in shoes and they've sweated during the day. Maybe it's been a hot day, or maybe they've just sweat because the shoes aren't built. They're kind of made out of plastic material more than breathable material. And your feet have been cooped up in those shoes all day long, and you take them off, and mommy is saying, "Wozy, Mosey, open up the windows. Where have your feet been?" And it's not really because you didn't take a bath. You took a bath or a shower. It's not really that. It's just that they don't like to be cooped up that much. And so feet inside shoes just tend to smell. I think particularly in little kids more than in big people. Little kids just have stinky feet. I think they sweat more than big people do, at least in the feet area. And so mommy's always kind of squirting a little something in your tennis shoes so they smell good, or if, she's putting them out in the sunshine so they can dry out. And she's always sure to wash your socks so that your little feet don't smell quite so bad. So sweat is an interesting thing that happens, and you cannot stop it. I said we would talk about hair. Hair is also an interesting thing. The root of your hair, okay, so hair sticks to your head, or it sticks to your arm or your chest if you're a dad, or to your face if you're a daddy, okay? Hair, at the base of a hair, there's a little thing called an oil gland. So look at your paper right here, okay? Can you find your paper? And for number 3, can you write the word oil gland? And it's oil, O-I-L, and then gland, G-L-A-N-D. The oil gland is at the base of each hair. So number 3 is the oil gland, okay? And of course the hair is number 5, and it's at the top here, whoops, wherever it is. That's pointing to a hair. A hair is kind of thin on the top. I mean, as you see it, it's thin, but it's a little thicker as it gets down in the dermis area, okay? So number 5 is your hair, and number 3 here is your oil gland. At the base of every hair, there is a little gland that's like a little, I guess you'd call it an organ, and he creates oil. Oil is important in your body. It's important in the fact that it keeps you warm. Remember yesterday I said that most of your body is covered with hairs, little tiny fine hairs. And you don't really think about it, you don't really see them that much. Yeah, you see the hair on your head, and you maybe see hair on your legs or on your arms. But actually your whole body, your tummy, your back, all is covered with these little fine hairs. And those hairs help keep you warm. And the oil is also a way to keep your body warm. Oil also helps you to not dry out. It keeps your skin smooth. It keeps your skin pliable. It keeps your skin moisture. And you have all probably had some kind of chapped lips in your life where your lips are all rough, especially in the wintertime. And the reason for that is because the oil is gone. The weather is not always, it sometimes affects it too. But the oil is not in your lips. Sometimes if you've had a temperature and you've been sick and you come back to school and your lips are very bad because your temperature has kind of robbed your skin of the oil. Oil keeps you warm and it keeps you soft. And at the base of every hair is where the oil gland lives in your body. And because you have so many hairs, you have lots of oil glands, you can imagine. And so oil is always on our fingers, okay? And I know you can't see it, but it's there. And you do kind of know, because if you put your hands all over your windows in your car and you come back later, then like the next day, there will be fingerprints all over those windows. And maybe your mommy and daddy say, keep your hands off the windows, because your oil on your hands actually gets on the windows. Or if you drag your hands down the hall as you're walking along, I know it doesn't look like it, but you're leaving oil wherever you go. If you're dragging them on the lockers or dragging them on the walls, and pretty soon you have this kind of grungy black stripe down your hall, or down on the front of faces of the lockers. It's the oil from your hands. Your oil is there and you can't stop it. You can't get rid of it. You can wash it, but as soon as you wash your hands, your little oil glands start to work, and they say, hey, that's fine to wash your hands, and that's great, and that's a wonderful thing. But Mr. Oil Gland's still going to work, and he's going to make your hands get soft by producing oil. That's why you wash your hair. You have to wash your hair, and little kids don't have to wash their hair as much as big people. Big people have to wash their hair a lot more. So when you get to be a teenager, if you're a kiddo that's only 8 years old, you can get away with washing your hair, maybe not every time you take a shower, but maybe, every other time. But when you get to be a big kiddo, you're going to produce a lot more oil. Your oil glands are going to be working big time. And they are going to produce so much oil that we can't keep them under control. They're just like, they get so carried away with themselves. And pretty soon they're making oil go everywhere, instead of just like when you're little, you don't have that much oil. But when you get to be about 14 years old, all of a sudden your skin goes crazy. Your oil glands start to pump oil, and pretty soon your hair is greasy, and it doesn't take very long for it to get oily and all separated and not as pretty as it should be. Or even worse than that, along come Mr. Pimple. Yes, because of oil glands. And your oil glands are working overtime, and they're producing oil, and your little pores are getting clogged up with this oil, and that's making bacteria, which makes pimples, which are hurting things and not very pretty, and dear. But once you're past those teenage years, then your oil glands figure out what to do, and they don't work so hard anymore. And by the time you're 25 years old, hey, you don't hardly ever have a pimple ever again, and your skin's just fine and dandy, just like it was when you were 8 years old. So you don't find 8-year-olds with a whole face full of pimples. No, it doesn't happen, because your oil glands are under control right now. But you just wait. Around the corner, there's going to be some oil glands that are going to do some big-time work. So your oil keeps your skin soft, and it keeps you warm. And that's why you wash your hair, because you have oil glands at the base of every hair. Okay, remember your skin on the outside is called your epidermis. It's very thin. It's the part that gets tan, or it gets sunburned, or sometimes it gets scraped, or sometimes it has freckles on it. Sometimes it has a mole on it. Sometimes it has a scar on it. It's the epidermis. And then underneath that is your dermis. Your dermis is a little thicker, and that's where your blood vessels live. Remember, your blood vessels are like the straws in your body. Big straws, fat straws, little straws, skinny straws, but they're all over, and that's where your blood is running around right now. If your blood was not running around, that part of your body would die. So your blood is in. If you're all together today, you probably are. If you're all together and all your body parts are working, there's blood involved. Your blood is keeping all those body parts alive. So there's all kinds of, small little tiny blood vessels and they're called capillaries, and there's veins and arteries, but they're all those are called together, called blood vessels. So that's the blood vessels are in your dermis, and it's a good thing. Great day. If you had your blood vessels on top of your epidermis, what would happen? Oh my, you bump the wall and you break all the blood vessels open. Nope. But that's not God's plan. He put your blood vessels down inside of you so they don't get hurt that much. Now, the next time we're together, I want to talk to you about Mr. Bruise. And I'm going to see if I can find an experiment to show you how Mr. Bruise works, because it involves our blood vessels as well. So, remember, your epidermis is on your outside. That's the part you see. The dermis is underneath. And we're getting most of our things done here. But next time, we're going to talk a little bit about Mr. Bruise and how that happens. Okay? That's all we need to talk to about today. Okay? Bye-bye.